Hi friends, welcome to another video lecture. We shall talk about vector spaces. How do we define a vector space? Is what that is first important to look into. Let f comma plus comma dot be a field. That is, let f be a field over addition and multiplication. The elements of f are called scalars. So let v be a non-empty set whose elements will be called vectors. Then V is said to be a vector space over the field F if there is defined an internal composition in V called vector addition and is denoted by plus. And this implies that V comma plus is an abelian group. That is, for V comma W belonging to V, V plus W should belong to V. So closure property for vector addition should be satisfied. And for U, V, W, all of them belonging to V, I should have U plus V plus W is equal to U plus V whole plus W. Whole means U plus V under brackets. U plus V whole means U plus V under brackets plus W. So associative property for vector addition is satisfied. Then for V belonging to V, there exists 0 belonging to V such that V plus 0 is equal to V equal to 0 plus V. So there is an existence of additive identity element or 0 vector. Similarly, for V belonging to V, there exists another W also belonging to V such that V plus W is equal to 0 equal to W plus V, or W is equal to minus V. So there is an existence of additive inverse element also. Also, for V comma W belonging to V, I should have V plus W is equal to W plus V, which means that the commutative property for vector addition also must be satisfied. And there are external properties or external conditions that must be satisfied. One is that there is an external composition in V over F called the scalar multiplication. So for any scalar A not equal to 0, A belonging to F and V belonging to V, then A into V also belongs to V. So V is closed with respect to scalar multiplication. So A into V also belongs to V. So V is closed under scalar multiplication. And apart from that, the two compositions, that is the vector addition and the scalar multiplication, satisfy the following postulates, namely, for A comma B belonging to F and V comma W belonging to V, I have A plus B whole dot V is equal to AV plus BV, A into B dot V is equal to AB whole dot V, then A into V plus W is equal to AV plus AW, then 1 into V is equal to V itself. So if all these conditions are satisfied, then then we say that vector space exists. If either of these properties are not satisfied, we say that the vector space doesn't exist. Right? All the signals are expressed in terms of vector spaces only. In advanced signal theory and practical signal processing, all other signals are thought of to be as vector spaces. Now we shall solve few problems based on vector space. Let R to the power of n means real number, it is n mapped. So let R to the power of n be the set of all n tuples of real numbers. Means n tuples means all possible combinations of real numbers. All possible combinations of real numbers are called as n tuples. So R all n combinations of real numbers are denoted by R to the power of n. Right? So it is the set of all n tuples or all possible combinations of real numbers. R designates a real number set. So let R to the power of n be equal to A1, A2, etc. up till an, where A1 belongs to R, A2 belongs to R, etc. up till an, all belong to R. Then R to the power of n is a vector space over the field R with point-wise addition and scalar multiplication defined as follows: A1, A2, etc. up till an plus B1, B2, etc. up till Bn is equal to A1 plus A2, A1 plus B1, comma A2 plus B2 plus etc. up till An plus Bn. and C into A1, A2, etc. up till An is equal to CA1, comma CA2, etc. up till CAN for all A1, A2, etc. up till An, comma B1, B2, etc. up till Bn, comma C belonging to R. So I should prove that this is a vector space. I should prove that R to the power of n is a vector space. So which is what we are going to do. So for addition in R to the power of n, I should have the closure property to be first satisfied. So let us see if it is satisfied or not. So if x is equal to x1, x2, etc. up till xn, and y is equal to y1, y2, etc. up till yn, be any two elements of R to the power of n, then add x and y. Then x plus y is equal to x1 plus y1, comma x2 plus y2, comma etc. up till xn plus yn. As x1 to xn, then comma y1 to yn all belong to R. So since x1, x2, etc. up till xn, y1, y2, etc. up till yn all belong to R, and therefore it follows that x1 plus y1, x2 plus y2, etc. up till xn plus yn all belong to R. So since they belong to R, it is inducive to say that they all belong to R to the power of n also. So that's why x plus y belongs to R to the power of n. R to the power of n is closed for vector addition. So first part is over. Now coming to the proving of associative property. Again, if x is equal to x1, x2, etc. up till xn, y is equal to y1, y2, etc. up till yn, then z is equal to z1, z2, etc. up till zn, are any three elements of R to the power of n, then x plus y whole plus z is equal to x1 plus y1, comma x2 plus y2, comma etc. up till xn plus yn, plus z1 plus z2 plus etc. up till zn. Or this can be written as x1 plus y1 whole plus z1, comma x2 plus y2 whole plus z2, etc. up till xn plus yn whole plus zn. Whole means under the brackets. This is also equal to x1 plus y1 plus z1 whole, comma x2 plus y2 plus z2 as a whole, comma etc. up till xn plus yn plus zn as a whole. Or this can be written as x plus y plus z. So it means that the associative property for addition is satisfied. Next, existence of identity element we shall look. So let 0 be a set consisting of full elements of zeros, so that 0 belongs to R to the power of n. Now we have x plus 0 is equal to x, which is also equal to 0 plus x for x belonging to R to the power of n. So there exists a identity element. Now existence of inverse element, let's see. So for x is equal to x1, x2, etc. up till xn belonging to Rn, there exists y is equal to minus x1, comma minus x2, etc. up till minus xn, which also belongs to R to the power of n. So that's why I have x plus y is equal to 0. So x1 minus x1 is 0, x2 minus x2 is 0, xn plus of minus xn is 0. So that's why I have x plus y is equal to 0, which is also equal to y plus x. Because y plus x is also nothing but minus x1 plus x1, 0, minus x2 plus x2, 0, continuing up to minus xn plus xn, which is equal to 0. So that's why the 0 is the inverse element which exists. Commutative property. Now, if x is equal to x1, x2, etc. up till xn, and y is equal to y1, y2, etc. up till yn are any two elements of R to the power of n, then x plus y is equal to x1 plus y1, etc. up till xn plus y1. So that is also that this can also be written as y1 plus x1, etc. up till yn plus xn, which is nothing but y plus x. So R to the power of n is an abelian group under addition. Now, if x is equal to x1, x2, etc. up till xn belongs to R to the power of n, and a also belongs to R, then I have ax is equal to a into x1, x2, etc. up till xn. Or this can be written as multiply each of this element within the brackets with a, individually with a. That is called scalar multiplication. So this becomes a into x1, comma a into x2, etc. up till a into xn, all belonging to Rn. Here a is a scalar, it is a constant. Constants are always scalars, right? So this is the scalar multiplication. So a into x also belongs to R to the power of n. So that's why R to the power of n is closed for scalar multiplication. It is closed for scalar multiplication andre it is satisfying the scalar multiplication property anta artha. Now if x is equal to x1, x2, etc. up till xn, and y is equal to y1 to y etc. up till yn belongs to Rn, and a comma b belongs to R, then I can write a plus b into x1 x2 etc. up till xn, which is equal to a plus b in, whole into x1 comma a plus b whole into x2 etc. up till a plus b whole into xn. Or this I can write it as a into x1 comma a into x2 etc. up till a into xn plus b into x1 comma b into x2 etc. up till b into xn. Or this becomes ax plus bx. Now a dot b dot x, I am trying to verify the associative property for multiplication. So a dot b dot x is equal to a dot of b dot x1 comma b dot x2 etc. up to b dot xn. So that is nothing but ab dot of x1 x2 etc. up to xn. This constitutes x. So this is nothing but ab dot x. Now checking for the distributive property. A dot of x plus y is equal to a dot of x1 plus y1 comma x2 plus y2 etc. up till xn plus y1 xn plus yn. Sorry. Now this can be written as a dot of x1 plus y1 comma a dot of x2 plus y2 comma etc. up till a dot of xn plus yn. Simplifying and segregating, I can just write this as a dot x1 etc. up till a dot xn plus a dot y1 etc. up till a dot yn. Of course, this is also included in this. So this is nothing but a, and I can take a common. So this becomes a into x1, x2, etc. till xn plus a into y1, y2, comma y2, etc. till yn. So this is nothing but a dot x plus a dot y. Now, if x is equal to x1, x2, etc. till xn belongs to r to the power of n, then 1 dot x can be written as 1 dot x1, x2, etc. till xn. Or I can multiply each of these terms by 1. That is 1 dot x1 comma etc. till 1 dot xn or x1 x2 etc. till xn, because 1 multiplied with any element is the element itself. So this is nothing but x, because this all constitutes x. Hence we infer that r to the power of n is a vector space over the field R with point-wise addition and scalar multiplication. Okay. It's very simple, but we have to understand the concepts, right? This subject is a little bit tough and it is a little bit easy also. So it's neither too easy, neither nor too tough. So it is in the midway, it's in a cliffhanger. So you have to be a little bit careful while studying the subject. So a little bit more effort is needed. Of course, this module is quite easy. I should be sharing the material also. Now we shall go for the next problem. The set of all real symmetric matrices of order n is a vector space over the field R of real numbers with respect to matrix addition and multiplication of a matrix by a scalar, n being a fixed positive integer. So I have to verify whether it is a vector space or not. So let say a matrix is said to be symmetric. Let me write it. A matrix is said to be symmetric if it is equal to its own transpose. A is equal to AT or A dash. A matrix is said to be symmetric if A is equal to its own transpose. A is equal to AT or A dash. Now, of course, symmetric matrices exist only for square matrix. Okay. So symmetric matrices exist only for square matrices. So A is equal to A transpose equal to A dash. Now let us move on further. So let Sn be the set of all real symmetric matrices of order n. So if suppose I have got A comma B which belongs to Sn, then A plus B, that is the sum of A and B, also belong to Sn. for A comma B belonging to Sn. So that's why if A is a symmetric matrix and B is a symmetric matrix, there is a property of symmetric matrix which tells that the sum of two symmetric matrices is again a symmetric matrix. It's a well-known property of symmetric matrix which we study in basic algebra, linear algebra. So that's why A plus B is also a real symmetric matrix of order n. If A and B are also real symmetric matrices of order n, then if A, B, C belong to Sn, then A plus of B plus C is equal to A plus B whole of plus C for the same condition. So addition of matrices, symmetric matrices here is also associative. And if 0 is a null matrix or a zero matrix of order n, then for A belonging to Sn, I have A plus 0 is equal to A, which is equal to 0 plus A. Okay, so I have that. Next, checking for the identity, checking for the zero identity. So for A belonging to Sn, there exists minus A also belonging to Sn, such that A plus of minus A is equal to A, which is equal to minus A plus A. So this condition is also satisfied. Then I have to check for the commutative property. Matrix addition is commutative, isn't it? Matrix addition is commutative. So for A comma B belonging to Sn, A plus B is equal to B plus A. Okay, so that's why I infer that Sn comma plus is an abelian group, or Sn is an abelian group under addition. Now we shall go for the scalar multiplication and other properties which we need to verify. Suppose if k is any real number, you need not take only k, you take some other number b, or you take some other number z, nobody will stop you. It should be a constant, we should treat it as a constant. So if k is any real number and a belongs to Sn, then k into a also belongs to Sn. Because if a is a symmetric matrix, k into a is also a symmetric matrix of order n. So that's why Sn is closed for scalar multiplication. Closed andre Sn is satisfying scalar multiplication. That's the meaning of it. Now, if a, b are real numbers and capital A comma b also belong to Sn, then I have small a plus b whole dot small a plus b into a is equal to a into capital A plus b into capital A. Here small a and small b are scalars, are constants. If there is any confusion between this small a and capital A, you take say some x and y, or you take c and d. If c and d are real numbers and capital A comma b belong to Sn, then c plus d into a is equal to c into a plus d into a. That also you can write. ಅಥವಾ ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಅಂತಾನು ತಗೊಳ್ಬಹುದು, ಆಲ್ಫಾ ಬೀಟಾ ಅಂತಾನು ತಗೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. But I should treat that they are real numbers as per the condition for the vector space that must be satisfied. Now, if I take a here, if I consider a and b are as the real numbers in the given problem, then a into capital A plus b is equal to a into capital A plus a into capital B. Okay. So scalar distributive law is also satisfied. So scalar associative law, that also should be satisfied. So I have small a dot b dot capital A is equal to small a into b whole dot capital A, and multiplicative scalar identity, that also is satisfied. 1 into capital A is equal to A itself. So Sn is a vector space over the field of real numbers R with respect to addition of matrices and multiplication of matrix by the scalar. Okay, so that's why it is indeed a vector space. That's what we infer, and that was we were asked to prove. So last problem for this video. If V is an abelian group of positive real number for multiplication, if V is an abelian group for positive real number for multiplication, define scalar multiplication in V by A into X is equal to X to the power of A, where A belongs to R, X belongs to V. Show that V is a vector space over R. This is a little bit peculiar, but quite simple problem. But we have to see what is it. Okay. If V is an abelian group of positive real number for multiplication. Yes, I already mentioned that it is an abelian group of positive real number for multiplication. Means it is already satisfying closure law, associative law, distributive law, and commutative law, identity element and inverse element all are existing. So that's why it is an abelian group. Now I have to define scalar multiplication in V by A. A is a constant. A into X is equal to X to the power of A, where A belongs to R and X belongs to V. So I have to show that V is a vector space over R. Now suppose V is equal to R plus is an abelian group for multiplication. So I have got two operations here, multiplication in R plus, and then I have got the scalar multiplication in R plus. How, you may ask? I have got A into X is equal to X to the power of A. So this is and X to the power of A, X is being multiplied by itself A times. X is being multiplied itself A times. So X into X into X into X, how many times? A times. So that is written as X to the power of A. I shall show it here so that it would become more clear. For example, I have got 3. 3, if I multiply 3 times, I write this as 3 to the power of 3. Now X I have. X I am multiplying A number of times. So what is the resultant? I am multiplying A times. So this is equal to X to the power of A. X into X into X, etc. till X. If I multiply A times, so this is written as X to the power of A. So I have A into X is equal to X to the power of A. So I have got both multiplication in R plus and I have got scalar multiplication. So scalar multiplication is here because A is a scalar. Right? So I have got AX, I have got normal multiplication, X into X into X multiplied A times, which is written as X to the power of A. And I also have A into X, which is a scalar multiplication. This is scalar multiplication. Sorry. Yeah. This is scalar multiplication. So that's why I have for A belonging to R and X belonging to R plus, I have A into X is equal to X to the power of A. And X to the power of A belonging to R plus, because as X belongs to R plus, X to the power of A is always positive. X to the power of A is always positive. Here little bit here, careful you should be here. I have got both scalar multiplication and normal multiplication. Now, the scalar, I have got normal multiplication in R plus. I also have the scalar multiplication in R plus. Normal and scalar multiplication in R plus. So for A belonging to R and X belonging to R plus, I have A into X is equal to X to the power of A. And X to the power of A always belongs to R plus, since X belonging to R plus means that X to the power of A is always positive. Okay. Now suppose let me take A is equal to minus 3. So I have now substitute X is equal to substitute A is equal to minus 3 into this equation. So let me write it here. Let me substitute A is equal to minus 3 into this equation. So I get minus 3 into X is equal to X to the power of minus 3. Okay, or I get 1 by X cubed. 1 by X cubed is a positive real number. 1 by X cubed is a positive real number. So therefore, X to the power of minus 3 is also an element of R plus. Now, in the problem, he has already told that V is an abelian group. So if V is an abelian group, then for A belonging to R and X belonging to V, I should have A into X should be equal to X to the power of A, that also belongs to V. If V is an abelian group under multiplication, then for A, V is an abelian group for multiplication, right? So that's why we have written V, comma cross is an abelian group. So it means it's an abelian group under multiplication. So for A belonging to R and X belonging to V, I have A into X is equal to X to the power of A. So that also belongs to V. Now let us check for other distributive laws and other such criteria. A plus B into X can be written as X to the power of A plus B. I have Ax is equal to X to the power of A now. Now A plus B into X can be written as replace A by A plus B. If I replace A by A plus B, then that becomes A plus B whole into X is equal to X to the power of A plus B. Or break up this X to the power of A plus B as X to the power of A into X to the power of B. So A to the X to the power of A becomes Ax multiplied by Bx using this same criteria. Okay, X to the power of A into X to the power of B I have. But what is X to the power of A? Ax. So replace X to the power of A by Ax. X to the power of B can be written as B to the B into X using the same argument. Now let me verify for multiplication. Now replace X by X1 and X2. So A into X1 multiplied with X2 is equal to X1 into X2 multiplied by whole to the power of A. Or this can be written as X1 to the power of A into X2 to the power of A. Now X1 to the power of A can be written as A into X1 multiplied with A into X2. Be a little bit careful with this problem. It's little bit tricky. First ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಒಂದು 4-5 ಸರಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅದು ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೇನೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. The trick is I am using this where is it? A into X is equal to X to the power of A ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಪೀಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ರಿಕರ್ಸಿವ್ಲಿ. Next, I need to check for the commutativity. So A dot of Bx is equal to B dot of X to the power of X. Again, Bx whole to the power of A, I mean. I am using the same expression. A into X is equal to X to the power of A. So A dot of Bx is equal to B into X whole to the power of A. Or this can be written as, but what is B into X? B into X can be written as X to the power of B whole to the power of A, because I am using this criteria. Ax is equal to X to the power of A. So B into X can be written as X to the power of B whole to the power of A, or this is equal to X to the power of BA, or this can be written as X to the power of AB, because R is commutative for multiplication. But what is X to the power of AB? X to the power of AB can be written as A into Bx, or AB into X. So it is commutative. Now check for the multiplicative identity, scalar multiplication. So 1 into X, substitute A is equal to 1. So 1 into X is equal to X to the power of 1 is equal to X. So that's why we defined for multiplication and scalar multiplication is a vector space. The trick here is I have been given an exponential here, index. So here I should be careful while using this exponential properly. Use the corresponding rules of the vector space properly and keep on substitute and keep on using this equation repeatedly. If I am replacing A by A plus B also, I am going to apply this rule for A as well as for B recursively many number of times and checking whether all the conditions of the vector space are satisfied. You may ask, sir, how do you know that these conditions must be satisfied? ಈ ತರನೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಅದು ಆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬರೋದು ಸಹಜ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ನಾವು ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಈ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಬರ್ದಿದೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಈ ಮೂರು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್, ಇದು ಮೂರನೇದು, ಎರಡನೇದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದನೇದು. ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದೊಂದಾಗಿ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ನೀವು ಫುಲ್ಲು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತಾನೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ, ದೀಸ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಗಿವನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್, ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್, ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್. So in the experiment, in the third problem, which is little bit tricky and little bit tough, I am satisfied. I am checking whether the given problem satisfies all these properties, and I am using that x is equal to x to the power of a repeatedly. When I am replacing the by a plus b also, I am applying the same given condition in the problem for a as well as for b, repeatedly in all the conditions. So these conditions, the conditions that must be followed by an expression, so that it can be called as a valid vector space, is what you must remember. So ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಈ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ನಾನು 3 ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೂ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಇದು ಈ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಒಂಥರ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಒಂಥರ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಈ ಫುಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಕ್ಲೋಜರ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೂರು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಗಳು, ಈ 3 ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಾ, ಇದು ಮೂರನೇದು, ಇದು ಎರಡನೇದು, ಹಿಂದಿನ ಪೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದು ಒಂದನೇದು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆದರೆ 3ನೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನೇ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಬಿಲಿಯನ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಂತ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 3ನೇ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾನೋ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಕರ್ಸಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ. ಅದೇ ಆ 3ನೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ನು ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ಈ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು 3ನೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೂ ಹಾಕಿರೋದು, 2ನೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೂ ಹಾಕಿರೋದು, 1ನೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೂ ಹಾಕಿರೋದು. ಬಟ್ 3ನೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೆ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಬಿಲಿಯನ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸಾಕು. ಬಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ 3 ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, it depends upon the problem statement as to how we should proceed for solving the given problem. Okay, thank you. We will continue in the next video.